Here's something nobody warned you about when you got your first paycheck. Payday is actually the most financially dangerous day of your month. Not the end of the month when money is tight, not the middle of the month when unexpected bills arrive. The day the money lands. That specific 48 to 72-hour window right after your account balance jumps is when the majority of discretionary financial damage happens for most people. And it's not random. It's not a willpower failure. It's a documented psychological phenomenon with a name and a mechanism and a very predictable outcome if you don't have something specific in place to counter it. Behavioral economists call it the windfall effect. The moment a significant amount of money arrives in your account, your brain processes it differently from money you've been sitting on for a while. Fresh money feels abundant. It triggers a loosening of spending restraint that regular money doesn't. And that loosening, stretched across 48 to 72 hours, produces a pattern of small and medium purchases that most people can't fully account for when they look at their statements 2 weeks later. My name is Dave, and I love helping people understand why the moments that feel fine in the real time are often the ones doing the most financial damage over time. Today, we're going through 5 specific steps you do immediately when your paycheck lands. Not eventually, not when you get around to it, immediately. Because the window where this matters is shorter than most people realize. And every hour you wait is an hour the windfall effect is running unchecked on your account balance. But before the steps, let me show you what the 72-hour window actually costs. A study tracking spending behavior around paydays found that discretionary spending spikes an average of 23% in the 3 days immediately following payday compared to the 3 days before it. People buy more food, more clothing, more entertainment, more of almost everything discretionary in the 72 hours after money arrives than at any other point in the pay cycle. And here's the part that matters for your specific situation. That 23% spike isn't coming from people making reckless decisions. It's coming from people making normal decisions in a psychological state that makes normal spending feel more justified than it actually is. You work hard. The money arrived. You deserve to treat yourself a little. That dinner out feels more reasonable on payday than it does 11 days later. That purchase you've been putting off suddenly feels affordable because the balance is high. None of these are irrational thoughts. They're just thoughts happening at the moment of maximum financial vulnerability. And without something specific in place before they happen, they run the budget. The 5 steps are what you put in place so the windfall effect runs into a wall instead of running through your account. Step 1. Move your savings number before you see the full balance, not after bills. Not after a few days of looking at the number. Before you've had time to mentally incorporate the full balance as available spending money. Here's why the timing matters so much. The windfall effect is triggered by the perception of abundance. The moment you see $4,200 in your account, your brain starts doing math about what that number permits. But if $800 of that moves to savings within hours of arrival, your brain recalibrates to a $3,400 starting point. The windfall effect activates on $3,400 instead of $4,200, and $800 has already escaped the vulnerability window entirely. This is different from the pay yourself first principle most people have heard about. Pay yourself first is a philosophy. This is a timing intervention. The savings number moves in the first hours specifically because that's when the psychological window is open and the money is most at risk. The amount that moves depends on your target savings rate. Whatever percentage you've committed to, that dollar figure transfers on payday, not on the day after, not at the end of the week, the same day. Ideally automated so it happens before you've checked your balance at all. The version of you that sees $3,400 in your account instead of $4,200 makes genuinely different spending decisions over the next 2 weeks. Not dramatically different, just different enough that the cumulative effect across 12 paydays a year is significant. Step 2. Run the fixed cost audit. This takes about 10 minutes, and it's the step that catches the silent drains most people never see coming. Pull up your last bank statement and your last credit card statement simultaneously. Go through every recurring charge, every subscription, every automatic renewal, everything that pulled money without you actively deciding to spend it this cycle. Mark anything you don't immediately recognize. Mark anything you use less than once a week. Mark anything that renewed at a higher price than the last time you checked. Here's why this step happens on payday specifically rather than any other time of month. Recurring charges are designed to be invisible. The $14.99 that renews quietly, the gym membership that processes automatically, the software subscription you forgot you had. These charges are most visible immediately after payday when the account has just been refilled, and the statement shows exactly what got taken before you had a chance to decide anything. The average household has between $150 and $300 in monthly recurring charges they either forgot about or no longer actively want. Over a year, that's between $1,800 and $3,600 leaving the account without a single conscious spending decision being made. Cancel one thing today, not everything at once. One thing. The one that provides the least value relative to its cost. Then repeat this step next payday and cancel one more. Over 6 months, the silent drain slows to something manageable. Step 3. Feed the 3 accounts in the right order. Most people have one account. Money comes in, money goes out. Whatever's left at the end of the fortnight either gets saved or doesn't. The 3 account structure changes the mechanics of how money moves through your financial life in a way that makes good decisions automatic rather than effortful. Account 1 is your bills account, a separate account where fixed costs live. Rent, utilities, minimum debt payments, insurance, subscriptions you've decided to keep. On payday, a fixed, predetermined amount transfers here to cover exactly those costs for the cycle. The amount doesn't change. The bills come out of this account and only this account. When it's empty, the bills are paid and not a dollar more comes from it. Account 2 is your daily spending account, a separate account for groceries, fuel, dining, entertainment, the variable costs of living your actual life. On payday, a fixed weekly amount transfers here per week of the pay cycle. When that amount is gone, it's gone until the following week's allocation arrives. The account acts as a natural spending boundary without requiring a budget, without requiring tracking, without requiring a single decision about whether any individual purchase is appropriate. The balance tells you account 3 is your building account, savings, investments, emergency fund contributions. The amount that transferred here in step 1 stays here. It doesn't participate in anything that happens in accounts 1 or 2. It is structurally separate from your spending life. 3 accounts, 3 jobs, no overlap. The structure does what willpower can't do consistently. Step 4. Make the one financial decision that's been waiting. Every pay cycle there is something specific you know you need to address financially but haven't. A debt payment above the minimum, a contribution increase you've been meaning to set up, a bill you've been meaning to negotiate, a financial account you've been meaning to open. This step exists because financial procrastination compounds exactly like financial progress does. The debt payment you didn't make above the minimum this cycle is interest you'll pay next cycle. The contribution increase you didn't set up this payday is compound growth that doesn't start until the next one. Every cycle you delay a known financial improvement is a cycle of that improvement you don't collect. The rule is simple. One thing. Every single payday, not 5 things. Not a comprehensive financial overhaul. One specific thing you've been putting off that takes less than 20 minutes to address. Call the internet provider to negotiate the rate. Increase the 401k contribution by 1%. Open the high-yield savings account you've been meaning to move to. Make one extra debt payment. Set up the automatic transfer you've been meaning to automate. One thing this payday. Before the 72-hour window closes and the inertia of the next 2 weeks sets in. The cumulative effect of one financial improvement per payday over 12 months is 26 improvements. 26 things that were bleeding money or missing growth that no longer are. That's not an incremental result. That's a fundamentally different financial life built one payday at a time. Step 5. Set your discretionary spending intention for the cycle. Not a budget. Not a category breakdown. An intention. One sentence about what this pay cycle's discretionary spending is going to go toward beyond the basics. Something specific and chosen rather than something that just happens. Here's why this step matters and why it comes last. The windfall effect doesn't just cause overspending. It causes unintentional spending. Money leaving the account without a clear connection to anything you actually valued or wanted. The dinner out that happened because you were tired and the account balance was high. The purchase that seemed fine in the moment and forgotten a week later. The accumulated small decisions that add up to a number at the end of the cycle that doesn't match any particular memory of enjoying it. The spending intention doesn't eliminate discretionary spending. It makes it deliberate. Maybe this cycle, the discretionary money goes toward the birthday dinner you've been looking forward to. Maybe it goes toward the specific item you've been saving up for. Maybe it goes toward a deliberately relaxed month where you give yourself room after a tight stretch. Whatever it is, you're choosing it, rather than letting the windfall effect in the next 2 weeks choose it for you. And chosen spending, even the same dollar amount, produces more satisfaction and less regret than spending that just happened. That's the psychological payoff of the fifth step. Not saving more, enjoying what gets spent more because it was intentional. Here's the honest version of what this routine cost you in time. Step 1 is automated. 0 minutes once it's set up. Step 2 takes 10 minutes. Step 3 is automated after setup. 0 minutes. Step 4 takes between 5 and 20 minutes. Step 5 takes 2 minutes. Total active time per payday, between 15 and 30 minutes. Twice a month if you're paid bi-weekly, 30 to 60 minutes a month of active attention to your financial life. Most people spend more time than that deciding what to watch on television on a single Tuesday evening. The 72-hour window opens every payday, whether you do anything about it or not. The windfall effect runs whether you're aware of it or not. The silent drains pull whether you track them or not. The only variable is whether you have something in place before the window opens. These 5 steps are that something. And unlike most financial advice, the results show up on your bank statement within the first pay cycle. Not in 5 years, not after the compounding kicks in. Immediately. In the form of a balance at the end of the cycle that looks different from what it used to look like. That's the kind of change you can actually feel. And feeling it once is usually enough to make the 15 minutes a permanent fixture of every payday from here.